so I don't end up killing this one too, knock on wood, because this is my last one. Hi everyone, it's Marian, and today I'm sharing with you my updates on my Thai constellation Monstera. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as you can see right behind me, I have two Thai-con monsteras. And no, I did not get a new one. If you've been following me on my YouTube shorts, you know I've been doing steps to ready my plant for propagation and repotting. And this week, I finally repotted it and was able to propagate one plant out of my mother plant. So I'm excited to share with you the process of me repotting it. So what happened with this one is it was suffering from scales and mealybugs at the beginning of the year. Honestly, it still kind of is, but it's not as bad. So I decided to start propagating it in preparation for repotting. And then last year I tried this TikTok hack of dipping the aerial roots in water. Supposedly it will help it grow faster or better like that. So last time I wasn't successful, but this time, as you can see, I have a little bit more success with it. I started with this root over here and I've dipped it in water, and as you can see, if I pull out the roots, it has secondary roots now as well. So it is very much ready for repotting. And maybe a couple weeks later, I also started doing it on the other aerial root that was growing. And if I pull out the jar, you would see it has also grown some roots, but not as much as the first aerial root. I've also made some cuts on the plant itself to propagate it, but I kept it in the pot while it is pushing out new growth and also kind of like establishing itself as its own plant. This one is a new leaf from a cutting that I made down there. Like over here, you see this white dots. At first, I thought they were like mealybugs, but no, they're new growth points. So there's a potential of it pushing out new growth some more. And again, it might be hard to see. You might be able to see it better later once I take it out of the pot. There's also some of that new growth points forming at this corner. So yeah, though, that is my Thai-con. It's ready for repotting now that it has pushed out new growth on the propagations or cutting propagations that I made without repotting it right away. So let's see if this trick of mine works and help the Thai-con be established as a plant once I separate them a little bit better. And I was hoping to get 2 or 3 propagations out of this plant. Spoiler alert, you see I have only one, but you'll see why once I take it out of the pot and look at the root situation and where the plant is actually cut to make sense of if I should propagate it more than just once. So basically, I'm going to show you how I propagated and repotted my Thai constellation monstera in this video. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Marian. Welcome to My Wasteless Life, where I take you along my houseplant and sustainable lifestyle journey and share with you some of my tips and tricks along the way. I also share some personal and travel vlogs here and there. So if that type of content interests you, make sure to subscribe to my channel before the end of this video and make sure to like and comment down below. I would love to hear from you. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So here is my Thai-con outside on my potting bench. I am outside, the AC is on, kids are in the swimming pool, and wind, so sorry for the noise. If it's really bad, I'll just do it in post. But yeah, so let's get started with repotting this Thai-con monstera. Here is the Thai-con, and I guess in better lighting, this is the aerial root one and aerial root number 2. And let's just go ahead and take it out of the pot. Okay, so this is the root system. Not all healthy roots, so I'm glad that I did that propagation thingy, and let's see what's gonna go on. So I washed the roots, and it turns out I might not have 3 cuttings. I might just have 2, so I don't think I can even go for a 4th one. There is some root rot, but a lot of the roots has been preserved, so that's a good thing. But I think for like this one, most of this root system belong to the new growth, so I don't think I can cut this one off without harming it or taking a long time to propagate it. So this is all going to be in one pot, and I'm just cutting off like the rotted ends, so hopefully it doesn't continue to rot. And I might give it a hydrogen peroxide wash before I repot it. We will see. Alright, so this one is probably gonna go in this pot. Okay. And here is the second one. So as you can see, still a lot of root system, even though I lost quite a bit to root rot. So, but as such, I'm debating whether I should cut off the top part or not. I feel like I should, just in case. But let's just see, like there's a new growth point. I don't know if you can see there's a new growth point happening here. So if I cut that one, it would like encourage that growth point, and maybe a couple ones that are over here. So we will see. But yeah, so just again trimming the ends of the ones that might have shown signs of rotting, so it doesn't continue. The thing with thycons, at least my thycon, is like the internodes are so small, so it's really hard to find a place to properly cut it without damaging one of the other parts. If I keep it like this and just keep the ones here in water, you know what I'm saying? Like continue to keep this in water and then bury this part in soil, and we'll see what happens. What do you think? What do you think? Well, by the time to upload this, you already seen what I've done. But okay, so between the wind, the AC, and all the background noise, it's just best to do a voiceover. So basically, I am now repotting the thycon, and I kind of disregarded everything that I said earlier, and I'm just gonna fully pot up this, technically the propagation part of the thycon, back into the original pot. I just put some lava rocks in it to help with drainage, and here's me carefully trying to put the roots back into the pot and just trying to make sure that it doesn't get damaged anymore than it already has, and just make sure everything fits in there well and properly and the plant is properly anchored. And the potting mix that I'm using is the potting mix that you might have seen in my YouTube shorts, which is my potting mix for succulents technically and cactus, but I think this would work well with this one because I really need a very well draining soil to help prevent root rot. And this one has cocoa coir, perlite, and horticultural coal, would also help with keeping the soil healthy and hopefully the roots healthy as well. So I'm just like filling it up, but not all the way to the top so that it doesn't overflow when I water it, just enough to anchor the plant properly. And I think it works out pretty well. I am kind of confident that I did this instead of like making more propagations, but we will see. And I'm doing the same thing for the smaller plant, which is technically is the mother plant because that is the one that came from the base. And again, just putting the roots carefully into the terracotta pot and potting it up with the same potting mix. And with this one, I also made the decision to not separate it, as I mentioned earlier, because the roots are not fully formed yet for one of the growth. So when that happens, I would definitely be propagating this, and maybe the same for the larger propagation is I'm going to split it in half too when I see fed and when I see there's a lot more growth when it comes to the root system, for it to be able to be managed as an independent plant and not depend on the rest of the plant to be able to sustain itself. But yeah, so those are my thycons repotted, and I am watering them. I am just watering them with regular water that has houseplant vitamin in it. This is the houseplant vitamin that I previously got from Houseplant Resource Center. If you're interested in it, I'll link it down in the description. But you can see here how well draining the soil mix is, and that is what I want, especially with this plant that has kind of suffered a bit of a root rot, and I don't want it to continue. And you know, thycons very prone to root rot, so we don't want it to happen. That's the process of me repotting my thycon monstera, and it's about a couple days now since I repotted the plants, and I actually left it outside for the first couple of days, but then it started raining, so I brought them back in because I was scared of them getting root rot. So with this one, this is the propagation that I got off the mother plant. To be honest, this is actually the mother plant because this is kind of like the original node or the original plant, and it has shot out one new leaf. As you can see, before I repotted it, I allowed it to grow a new leaf first. And with this one, it was starting to grow a new one, but it didn't fully form a leaf like this one. So I'm waiting for that to happen before I make the secondary cutting here. As I might have mentioned earlier, I decided to not cut it a second time just because the root system that's connected to this one is not fully developed. So I kind of like wanted to fully develop as well, and also maybe produce one or two more leaves before I separate it all together. So but now I have this baby thycon that I'm really happy about, and I don't know what I'm doing with this yet. I've mentioned in previous videos that I've been meaning to trade a thycon for an albo. I did it previously. I kind of killed that albo. I kind of want to do it again and also do a plant giveaway. But with this one, as I've just explained, I'm still waiting for this one to grow a little bit more. So I'm probably going to hold off a little bit longer on the trading and on the thycon giveaway. But I promise you, I know I've been promising it for like a full year now. I still plan to do it. I still very much have the intention to. I just want to make sure the plant is established and stable before I do any giveaway or do any trades with this thycon monstera. And over here technically is the propagation, even though it has the bigger leaves. And with this one too, I was kind of hoping to make another cut in here and separate the two, like the one that grew secondary roots in water. I kind of wanted separated it, but I decided to keep it as one right now. I hope that was a good decision, because as I repotted in here, there might be root rot issues again. So I wanted to have like significant enough roots that it could survive another episode of root rot. But we know what happened to my other thycon that I want from Costa Farms. So I don't really want that to happen with this one. So I'm really trying to be careful and vigilant about this piece of propagation. And also that's why I'm also taking my time with the baby one, even though that is a mother plant, just so that I can make sure that if anything happens to one or the other, I still have a backup. So yeah, that's the update on my thycon monstera, how I propagated it and then eventually repotted it. So I hope you enjoyed that and maybe learned a little bit of something, or maybe if you have techniques or like tips for me that you want to share, so I don't end up killing this one too, knock on wood, because this is my last one. I don't have another thycon backup aside from this two that I have right behind me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please do subscribe. I come up with videos every week. And if you haven't yet, check out these videos up here until my next one. But until then, I see you. I appreciate you. Take care of yourself and each other, and have a plentiful day. Bye.